I'm Amanda Price, 32 years old. 21 days ago, I nearly died on my bathroom floor while my mother chose Beyoncé over her grandson. The bleeding started without warning. One moment I was changing my 3-week-old son Oliver's diaper at 4 p.m., and the next I felt a warm gush that soaked through everything. I looked down and saw blood. So much blood. Postpartum hemorrhage. The thing they warn you about but you never think will happen to you. My husband Jason was at work, an hour away in downtown Los Angeles. Oliver was crying because he was hungry and I just started to nurse him when the bleeding began. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I called 911 first. "Ma'am, how much blood?" the dispatcher asked. "I don't know. A lot. I'm soaking through pads in minutes. I feel dizzy. I'm sending paramedics now. Are you alone? I have a 3-week-old baby. My husband is at work. I need..." The room spun. I grabbed the counter to stay upright. "Stay on the line with me. Is there anyone who can come stay with the baby while we transport you?" Oliver was screaming now. That newborn cry that goes straight through your heart. "I'll call my mother. She lives 20 minutes away. Call her now. I'll stay on the line." I put the dispatcher on speaker and called Mom with shaking fingers. She answered on the 4th ring. "Amanda? What is it?" "I'm at lunch with your sister." "Mom, I need help. I'm hemorrhaging. Postpartum bleeding. The paramedics are coming. I need you to come get Oliver. Right now." There was a pause. I could hear restaurant noise in the background. Laughter. Music. "Hemorrhaging? Are you sure you're not just having a heavy period? You know how you tend to panic about medical things." "Mom, I've soaked through 3 pads in 15 minutes. I'm dizzy. I can barely stand. This is an emergency." "Well, how long will it take?" "Your sister and I have plans tonight. We're seeing Beyoncé at the Forum. The tickets were $800 each." Actually laughed. A hysterical, disbelieving laugh. "Mom, I'm having a medical emergency. I need you to watch your grandson." "Amanda, I raced my kids already. You need to figure out yours. That's what being a mother means. Besides, we've had these tickets for months. Beyoncé's Renaissance tour. It's her last one. We can't miss it." "I'm bleeding out." "You're being dramatic. You're probably fine. Just lie down with your feet elevated. If it's still bad later, go to urgent care." The 911 dispatcher's voice cut in. "Ma'am, the paramedics are 3 minutes away." "Mom, did you hear that? The paramedics are almost here. I need you to come watch Oliver." "Amanda, I'm not canceling our plans because you're having a bad day. Call Jason. Call a friend. Hire a babysitter. You're an adult. Handle it." My sister's voice in the background. "Is Amanda okay?" Mom to her. "She's fine. Just being overdramatic about some bleeding. You know how she is." Then to me, "We have to go. Our appetizers are here. Feel better, honey." She hung up. I stared at my phone, blood pooling beneath me, my newborn son screaming, and my mother had just chosen Beyoncé tickets over my life. The dispatcher's voice was gentle. "Ma'am? Do you have anyone else?" "My husband. But he's an hour away. Call him. The paramedics are arriving now." The paramedics, 2 men in their 40s, found me on the bathroom floor, Oliver in his bassinet nearby, still crying. "How much blood have you lost?" the first paramedic asked, already checking my vitals. "I don't know. A lot. I'm 3 weeks postpartum. The bleeding just started an hour ago. Blood pressure is 80/50. Pulse is 140. She's going into shock." He looked at his partner. "We need to move fast." They started in 4 while I called Jason. "Babe, I'm leaving right now," he said when I explained. His voice was tight with fear. "I'll be there as fast as I can." "Oliver." "I'll call my mom. She's closer. She'll be there in 30 minutes. The paramedics need to leave now. Then we find someone to ride with you in the ambulance with Oliver, or we call emergency childcare. Amanda will figure it out. Just focus on staying conscious." The second paramedic was already on his phone. "I'm calling our pediatric transport unit. They can take the baby with you or arrange immediate care." But I remembered something. A card my doula had given me at my baby shower. Emergency newborn services, because new mothers shouldn't have to choose. "There's a service," I said. "In my hospital bag. A card. Emergency newborn care." One of the paramedics found it and called while they loaded me onto the gurney. A woman answered immediately. Emergency newborn services, this is Rachel. I need immediate help, I said, my voice weak. Postpartum hemorrhage. 3-week-old baby. No family available. I'm being transported to Cedars-Sinai. We'll have a specialist at Cedars before you arrive. What does Oliver need? I told her about his feeding schedule, his bassinet, his favorite swaddle. She took notes calmly, professionally, like this was routine. Our specialist Jennifer is 15 minutes from Cedars. She's a postpartum doula and pediatric nurse. She'll meet the ambulance, take Oliver, and care for him until your husband or mother-in-law arrives. Our emergency rate is $150 per hour with a 4-hour minimum. Whatever it costs. Just please take care of my baby. Amanda, your son is going to be fine. You focus on getting to the hospital. We've got Oliver. As they wheeled me to the ambulance, Oliver strapped in his car seat beside the gurney, I did something I'd been doing for 10 years. Something I'd kept secret from Jason until 2 years ago. Something that had cost me everything and given me nothing in return. I opened my banking app with blood-stained, shaking hands. There it was. The automatic transfer I'd set up when I was 22 years old and got my first job out of college. $5,000. Every month. On the 1st. For 10 years. It started when my parents mentioned they were struggling after Dad's business partner embezzled from their company. When Mom said they might lose their house. When my older sister Christina was in grad school and they were stretched thin. Just temporarily, Dad had said. Just until we recover from the losses. 10 years later, the temporary help had become permanent. Dad had recovered. The business was thriving. Christina had graduated and was making 6 figures. But I'd kept sending money because they'd never said to stop. Because I thought that's what good daughters did. $5,000 a month. 12 months a year. 10 years. $600,000. $600,000 to parents who wouldn't drive 20 minutes to watch their grandson while I bled to death. My blood pressure was dropping. The paramedic was talking to the hospital, his voice urgent. With the last of my strength, I canceled the automatic transfer. Then I set up a new one. $5,000 per month to a trust account for Oliver. For his future. For college. For whatever he needed. The money my mother valued more than my life would now go to the grandson she couldn't be bothered to protect. Ma'am, stay with us, the paramedic said. We're almost there. Everything went gray at the edges. If you're genuinely enjoying this story, a quick like would mean the world. It helps me keep creating these stories. I woke up in the ICU with Jason holding my hand and crying. Hey, I whispered. My throat was raw from the breathing tube they'd removed. Oh, thank God. He kissed my forehead, my cheeks, my hands. You're okay. You're going to be okay. Oliver. With Jennifer, the specialist. He's amazing. My mom is on her way from San Diego. She'll be here in an hour. He wiped his eyes. Amanda, you almost died. You lost 3 liters of blood. They had to do emergency surgery. You had retained placental tissue that was causing the hemorrhage. The baby is perfect. Safe. Federal Jennifer sent me pictures. Look. He showed me his phone. Oliver, swaddled in his favorite blanket, sleeping peacefully in a professional-grade bassinet. Jennifer had set up a whole mobile nursery in a private room at the hospital. She's been with him for 6 hours, Jason said. She won't leave until family gets here. She's been pumping for you, bottle feeding him, doing skin to skin. Amanda, this stranger has done more for our son in 6 hours than your mother. He stopped. His face went dark. What did your mom say when you called her? I told him everything. The lunch. The Beyoncé tickets. The I raced my kids comment. The accusation that I was being dramatic. Jason stood up so fast his chair fell over. She said what? Jason. She told you to figure it out? While you were hemorrhaging. While her 3-week-old grandson needed help. His voice was rising. Where is she? Is she here? I don't know. I don't care. I care. I care a lot. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling her right now. Jason, don't. But he was already dialing. It rang twice before my mother answered. Jason, how's Amanda? We've been so worried. The concert just ended and we saw your messages. Jason's voice was ice. You've been worried? You've been at a Beyoncé concert for the past 4 hours while Amanda had emergency surgery to save her life. Emergency surgery? Jason, you're exaggerating. Amanda said she had some bleeding. That's normal postpartum. 3 liters of blood, Patricia. She lost 3 liters of blood. Her blood pressure was 80/50 when the paramedics arrived. He went into shock. She could have died. Silence. Well, how are we supposed to know it was that serious? Amanda's always been dramatic about medical issues. She told you she was hemorrhaging. She told you the paramedics were coming. She begged you to watch Oliver. Jason was shaking with rage. And you said no because you had concert tickets. Those tickets were very expensive. We couldn't just. I don't give a damn about your concert tickets. Your daughter almost died. Your grandson was left with strangers because his own grandmother couldn't be bothered. That's not fair. We came as soon as the concert ended. 4 hours later. Amanda was already in surgery. We'd already hired emergency care. You weren't needed anymore because you made it clear you wouldn't show up when it mattered. My mother's voice turned cold. Jason, I understand you're upset, but you're being incredibly disrespectful. We're Amanda's parents. You deserve nothing. You lost that privilege when you chose entertainment over your daughter's life. He hung up. Then he did something I'll never forget. He blocked her number. Then Christina's. Then my father's. They're not visiting, he said flatly. They're not meeting Oliver again until you decide. If you decide that you want them in his life. But right now they don't get access to you or our son. I should have argued. Should have said that was too extreme. But all I felt was relief. Dr. Morrison, the OB who'd performed my emergency surgery, came in an hour later. She was in her 50s with kind eyes and no-nonsense energy. Amanda, you're very lucky. Another 30 minutes and we would have been doing a hysterectomy or worse. She sat down. You had significant retained placental tissue. It caused catastrophic bleeding. We had to surgically remove it and repair damage to your uterine wall. Will I be able to have more children? Yes. But you'll need to wait at least 18 months and you'll be high risk. We'll monitor you closely. She paused. Amanda, I need to ask you something. When you called your mother for help, what did she say? I told her. Dr. Morrison's face went very still. Then she stood up. Excuse me for a moment. She walked into the hallway. I could hear her voice, sharp and clear. Mrs. Price? I'm Dr. Morrison, Amanda's OB-GYN. I understand you're in the waiting room. My mother's voice. Yes, we've been here for an hour. They won't let us see Amanda. Her husband is being completely unreasonable. I'm the one who gave the order. Amanda is not receiving visitors except approved family. We are family. We're her parents. Let me be very clear about what happened to your daughter today. She experienced a postpartum hemorrhage caused by retained placental tissue. When she called you, she was already in early shock. Her blood pressure was critically low. She was bleeding at a rate that would have killed her within the hour. Silence from my mother. She called you, her mother, and asked for help with her 3-week-old infant. And according to her medical history notes, you refused because you had concert tickets. Is that accurate? We didn't know it was that serious. She told you she was hemorrhaging. She told you paramedics were coming. What part of that didn't sound serious? Amanda tends to exaggerate. Stop. Dr. Morrison's voice could have cut glass. Your daughter almost died today. She lost half her blood volume. We had to perform emergency surgery. She'll need weeks of recovery. And your first response when she called for help was that you'd raised your kids already, and she needed to figure it out. I didn't mean. I've been an OB for 27 years. I've seen a lot of family dynamics. But I have never in my entire career had a grandmother refuse to help during a life-threatening postpartum emergency because of entertainment tickets. You don't understand. Those tickets were very expensive and your daughter's life was worthless in comparison? Your grandson's need for family support meant nothing compared to a concert. Dr. Morrison's voice dropped. Mrs. Price, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think very carefully before you answer. What question? If Amanda had died on that bathroom floor while you were at your concert, would the show have been worth it? The silence was so long I could hear it from my hospital bed. Then my mother's voice, smaller, that's not fair. Neither is abandoning your daughter during a medical emergency. I suggest you think about that before you try to see her again. Footsteps. Dr. Morrison returned to my room, I'm sorry, she said. I don't usually get involved in family matters. But as your physician, I have to document why you didn't have family support during a critical medical emergency. And Mrs. Price's reasoning was so negligent that I felt compelled to address it. What did she say? Nothing coherent. She left the hospital about 30 seconds after I asked her my question. What question? Dr. Morrison smiled grimly. Whether the concert would have been worth it if you'd died. Jason's mother Ellen arrived from San Diego at 9 p.m. She burst into my room, still in her work clothes, carrying bags of supplies. Oh honey. She hugged me carefully, avoiding the 4 lines. I came as fast as I could. I brought everything. Nursing pads, comfortable pajamas, those mesh underwear from the hospital, nipple cream, everything. You didn't have to. Of course I did. Your family. He turned to Jason. Where's my grandson? With Jennifer in the family room. She's been incredible. Ellen went to meet Oliver and came back 20 minutes later with him in her arms, tears streaming down her face. He's perfect. Absolutely perfect. She looked at me. Jennifer briefed me on his whole routine. She's been keeping detailed notes. Amanda, this woman is a saint. Jennifer, the emergency care specialist, came in to say goodbye. She was in her 40s, calm and competent. Oliver is all set, she said. I've left detailed notes for Ellen. He's been fed, changed, and he's had plenty of cuddles. You did great today, Amanda. You made the hard calls when it mattered. Thank you. I don't know how to. You already did. You protected your baby when you were literally bleeding out. That's what mothers do. She paused. The bill for my services will be sent to your insurance. Most cover emergency postpartum care. But even if they don't, you made the right call. After she left, Ellen settled into the chair with Oliver. I'm staying as long as you need me. I took family leave from work. I can be here for 2 weeks. Ellen, you don't have to. I want to. I'm his grandmother. This is what grandmothers do. She looked at me steadily. Jason told me what Patricia said. What she did. I looked away. Amanda, I need you to hear this. What she did was unforgivable. Not just refusing to help. That would be bad enough. But the reasoning. The dismissiveness. The cruelty of telling you to figure it out while you were in crisis. Ellen's voice was firm. That's not normal. That's not okay. And you don't owe her forgiveness. She's my mother. DNA doesn't obligate you to accept abuse. And make no mistake, what she did was abusive. 3 days later I was discharged. Ellen had transformed our house into a postpartum recovery haven. She'd meal prepped for 2 weeks, set up a nursing station, organized all of Oliver's supplies, and created a schedule that let me rest. You focus on healing and bonding with Oliver, she said. I'll handle everything else. My mother called 17 times the first day I was home. I didn't answer. On day 4 a letter arrived. Handwritten from my mother. Amanda, I don't understand why you're shutting us out like this. We're your parents. We love you. We came to the hospital as soon as we could. Dr. Morrison was incredibly rude to me. She had no right to speak to me that way. I'm considering filing a complaint. The concert situation is being blown completely out of proportion. Yes, we had tickets. Yes, they were expensive. But we would have left if we'd known it was truly serious. You didn't make it sound that urgent. I think you're letting Jason and his mother poison you against us. Ellen has always been jealous of our relationship with you. She's turning you against your own family. We need to talk about the money situation too. We just realized the monthly transfer stopped. We're assuming it's a banking error, but we need you to check on it. We have bills due. Please call us. We miss you and Oliver. Love, Mom. I read it twice, looking for actual accountability. For understanding. For a real apology. All I found was deflection, blame, and a demand for money. I wrote back. You're right that Dr. Morrison was harsh. She was harsh because you told your hemorrhaging daughter to figure it out, because you had concert tickets. She was harsh because your actions were indefensible. You didn't come as soon as you could. You came 4 hours later after the concert ended, after I'd already had emergency surgery. You came when it was convenient, not when I needed you. The concert situation isn't blown out of proportion. You chose entertainment over your daughter's life. Those are the facts. The money transfers weren't a banking error. I canceled them. I've been sending you $5,000 a month for 10 years. That's $600,000. You never once thanked me. Never once asked if I could afford it. Never once acknowledged where it came from. And when I nearly died, when I begged for help with your grandson, you said you'd raised your kids already, and I needed to figure it out. That money now goes to Oliver. The grandson you abandoned. The child you couldn't protect for even 4 hours. Don't contact me again unless you're ready to take real accountability. Not excuses. Not blame. Real, honest acknowledgement of what you did and why it was wrong. Amanda. I mailed it before I could second-guess myself. My mother showed up at my house 2 days later. Ellen answered the door. Patricia. What do you want? I need to see my daughter. Amanda doesn't want to see you. I'm her mother. I have a right. You forfeited your rights when you abandoned her during a medical emergency. Ellen's voice was steel. Leave before I call the police. You can't keep me from my own grandchild. Actually, I can. I have power of attorney while Amanda recovers. And she's made it very clear she doesn't want you here. I was listening from the bedroom holding Oliver. My mother's voice rose. This is kidnapping. You're turning Amanda against her own family. I'm protecting Amanda from people who hurt her. There's a difference. I never hurt her. I love her. You told her to figure it out while she was bleeding to death. That's not love. That's neglect. My mother's voice broke. I made a mistake. Can't she forgive me? That's not for me to decide. But Patricia, if you want any chance of forgiveness, you need to understand what you did. Actually understand it. Not make excuses. Not blame others. Actually sit with the reality that you chose a concert over your daughter's life. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. And until you can admit it, you won't be welcome here. I heard my mother's footsteps retreating. A car door slamming. The engine starting. Ellen came back inside shaking. I'm sorry, she said. I know she's your mother. But I couldn't let her. Thank you. I was crying. Thank you for protecting me when she wouldn't. 6 weeks postpartum, I had my follow-up with Dr. Morrison. You're healing beautifully, she said after the exam. Physically, you're recovering well. How are you doing emotionally? Better than I expected. My mother-in-law has been amazing. Jason took paternity leave. I have support. And your mother? Haven't spoken to her. She sends letters and gifts. I don't respond. Dr. Morrison nodded. That's probably wise. Amanda, I want to tell you something. In my 27 years as an OB, I've seen a lot of postpartum emergencies. And family dynamics always reveal themselves in crisis. What do you mean? The people who show up in a crisis are your real family. The people who make excuses aren't. It doesn't matter if they share your DNA. She leaned forward. Your mother-in-law dropped everything and drove 3 hours. A professional stranger cared for your baby for 6 hours. Your husband shut down his career for 2 weeks. That's family. And my mother chose Beyoncé. Exactly. Believe people when they show you who they are. 3 months postpartum, my sister Christina called. Amanda? It's me. Please don't hang up. Almost did. But curiosity stopped me. What do you want, Christina? I need to talk to you. About Mom. About everything. She paused. Can we meet for coffee? Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a cafe near my house. Christina looked tired. Older than I remembered. Thanks for coming, she said as I sat down with Oliver in his carrier. You have 30 minutes. Ellen is watching from that table. I pointed to my mother-in-law, who waved cheerfully while giving Christina a look that could melt steel. Fair enough. Christina took a breath. Amanda, I need to apologize. For the concert. For not supporting you. For everything. You were there too. At the concert. I was. And I'm ashamed. She looked down. Mom told me you were being dramatic. That you always overreacted to medical stuff. I believed her because it was easier than challenging her. I almost died, Christina. I know. I didn't know that at the time, but I know now. And even if it hadn't been that serious, I should have pushed her to help. You were 3 weeks postpartum with a newborn. Even if it was just heavy bleeding, you deserved support. I waited. There's something else, Christina said. Mom asked me to start sending her money. She said you cut her off over a misunderstanding, and she needs help with bills. What did you tell her? I asked how much you'd been sending. She said it was just a little help here and there. So I looked into it. Christina met my eyes. I found your old bank statements. You left them at Mom's house years ago. Amanda, you've been sending her $5,000 a month for 10 years. Yes. That's $600,000. I'm aware. Christina sat back, stunned. How? How did you afford that? I worked 70-hour weeks. I lived in a studio apartment until I met Jason. I drove a 15-year-old car. I never took vacations. I sacrificed everything to make sure they were comfortable. Why didn't you tell me? Because every time I tried to talk about money or family responsibility, Mom would say you were in grad school or just starting your career or had student loans. You were always exempt from helping. I've been making 6 figures for 5 years. I know. And Mom never asked you for a dime. Just me. Always me. Christina was quiet for a long moment. She asked me for $4,000 a month. Said it was temporary. I sent her $8,000 total before I started asking questions. She'll bleed you dry if you let her. I already told her no. She called me ungrateful. Said I was abandoning her just like you did. Christina's voice shook. I finally saw it. The manipulation. The way she uses guilt and obligation. The way she's always made me the golden child and you the workhorse. Took you long enough. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all of it. She reached across the table. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know I see it now. I see what she did to you. What she's always done to you. What are you going to do about it? I cut her off. Financially and emotionally. I'm in therapy. I'm working on understanding why I enabled her for so long. She paused. And I wanted to ask if there's any way we can rebuild. Not now maybe. But eventually. I looked at my sister. Really looked at her. She was crying. Actually crying. Maybe, I said slowly. But Christina, it can't be like before. I can't be the one who always gives while you take. I can't be the responsible one while you're the fun one. That dynamic is done. I understand. And I want different too. I want to actually be your sister. Not Mom's enforcer or her golden child. Just, your sister. Then prove it. Do the work. Stay in therapy. Set boundaries with Mom. And maybe in a year or so we can try. A year. You had 32 years of preferential treatment. You can wait a year. She nodded, wiping her eyes. Fair enough. 6 months postpartum, I got a certified letter from my parents' attorney. They were suing me for breach of financial support agreement and grandparent alienation. I called our family lawyer immediately. Richard Chin had handled our house purchase and wills. This is nonsense, Richard said after reviewing the letter. There's no such thing as a legally binding financial support agreement unless you signed a contract. Did you? No. I just started sending money when they said they needed help. Then they have no case. As for grandparent alienation, California law is very specific. Grandparents have no inherent right to visitation unless they can prove it's in the child's best interest and the parents are unfit. What do I do? We respond. We document everything. The concert, the medical emergency, the refusal to help. We show a pattern of neglect and manipulation. They won't get anywhere near Oliver with this lawsuit. Can they really take me to court? They can try. But Amanda, they'll lose. And more importantly, the judge will see exactly what kind of people they are. The case lasted 3 weeks before their attorney withdrew. Richard's response had been devastating. A complete timeline of my medical emergency, my mother's refusal to help, the $600,000 I'd sent over 10 years without acknowledgement, and their immediate lawsuit when the money stopped. Their lawyer called Richard personally. My clients didn't disclose the full situation. I wouldn't have taken this case if I'd known. Please extend my apologies to Mrs. Price. 1 year after Oliver's birth, we had a small party. Just close friends and Ellen. No one from my side of the family. Oliver was thriving. Happy. Healthy. He knew his grandma Ellen, who visited twice a month and video called every Sunday. He didn't know my mother. Didn't know my father. Didn't know he had a family on my side that had abandoned him before he was a month old. And I was okay with that. Ellen made the birthday cake. A beautiful blue and white creation with Oliver's first year. In careful frosting letters. To Oliver, she said, raising a glass of sparkling cider. And to the family that shows up. To showing up, we all echoed. Later, after everyone left, Jason and I sat on the couch watching Oliver sleep in his bassinet. Do you think you'll ever talk to them again? Jason asked. I don't know. Maybe. If they ever actually take accountability. If they ever understand what they did. I paused. But Jason, I'm not waiting for that anymore. I'm not putting my life on hold hoping they'll become the parents I deserved. Good. You deserve so much better. I have better. Have you? I have Ellen. I have Oliver. I have a family that actually values me. My phone buzzed. A text from Christina. 1 year sober from mom's manipulation. Therapy is working. Not asking to see Oliver yet. I know I need to earn that. Just wanted you to know I'm doing the work. Happy birthday to my nephew. Red heart. I showed Jason. Are you going to respond? Yeah. Because she's actually trying. Actually changing. I typed back. Proud of you. Keep going. 18 months after the hemorrhage I got pregnant again. We didn't tell anyone for months. High-risk pregnancy meant constant monitoring, frequent appointments, managed stress. Dr. Morrison watched me like a hawk. You're doing great. Blood work is perfect. Blood pressure is normal. This pregnancy is completely different. Because I'm not stressed? Because you're not carrying people who drain you. Your body knows the difference. At 38 weeks, our daughter Emma was born. Healthy. Perfect. Easy delivery. Ellen was there within hours, tears streaming down her face as she held her granddaughter. 2 grandchildren, she whispered. I'm so blessed. My mother sent a gift to the hospital. An expensive silver baby set, engraved with, to our precious granddaughter Emma. Love, Grandma and Grandpa. I sent it back with a note. You're not her grandparents. You're people who abandoned her brother when he was 3 weeks old. People who sued me for stopping payments you never earned. People who have never once taken accountability for your actions. Don't send gifts for children you don't know. Don't claim relationships you haven't built. If you want to be grandparents, it starts with being decent parents. And you've never managed that. 2 years after the Beyoncé concert, I ran into my mother at the grocery store. She looked smaller. Older. Her hair had gone gray and she'd aged in a way that suggested stress, not graceful aging. Amanda. She stopped her cart. Stared at Emma in my carrier, at Oliver holding my hand. They're so big. Kids grow. Can we talk? Please? Just for a minute. I looked at my children. At my watch. At the exit that was so close. You have 5 minutes. We stood there in the produce section while other shoppers moved around us. I'm sorry, Mom said. For everything. The concert. The lawsuit. All of it. I was wrong. What specifically were you wrong about? She blinked. What? What specifically? What did you do that was wrong? I chose the concert over helping you. And I shouldn't have sued you. And I took your money for years without appreciating it? These all sound like questions, not statements. She took a breath. Amanda, I don't know what you want me to say. I want you to say, I abandoned my daughter during a life-threatening medical emergency. I told her to figure it out when she was bleeding to death. I prioritized entertainment over her life. I took $600,000 from her over 10 years and never once acknowledged it or thanked her. I sued her when she set boundaries. I was a terrible mother and I'm sorry. Can you say that? She looked stunned. That's so harsh. That's honest. And Mom, until you can be honest about what you did, we have nothing to talk about. I'm trying. You're trying to avoid accountability. You're trying to get access to my kids without doing the work. You're trying to skip past the hard parts to get back to the benefits. I adjusted Emma in her carrier. It doesn't work that way. What do you want from me? I want you to get therapy. Real therapy, not just someone who tells you what you want to hear. I want you to understand why you treat people this way. Why you use them. Why you value money and status over relationships. I paused. And I want you to do that for yourself, not to get access to my children. How long will that take? However long it takes. Years maybe. Maybe forever. But Mom, I'm not waiting anymore. I have a family. A real one. People who show up. People who value me. You're not part of that family right now, and you won't be until you can prove you've changed. That's not fair. Neither is abandoning your daughter during a medical emergency. Neither is taking $600,000 without acknowledgement. Neither is suing your own child for setting boundaries. I started to push my card away. Fair is getting what you earned. And Mom, you earned distance. I walked away without looking back. Oliver asked, "Who was that lady, Mama?" "Someone who used to be in our family." "Is she in our family now?" "No, baby. She's not." "Oh. Okay." He went back to looking at the apples. "My name is Amanda Price. I'm 34 years old. I'm a mother of two, a wife and a daughter-in-law to the best mother-in-law in the world. I used to be a daughter too. Used to send my parents $5,000 a month. $600,000 over 10 years. Used to believe that family meant accepting whatever treatment they gave me. 2 years ago, I nearly died from a postpartum hemorrhage while my mother chose a Beyoncé concert over her grandson. An ER doctor asked her one question that made her go white. If Amanda had died, would the show have been worth it? She never answered. I've lost a lot. I lost the parents I wished I had. I lost the fantasy of what family was supposed to be. I lost $600,000 that could have changed my life. But I gained everything that matters. A husband who protects me. A mother-in-law who shows up. Children who will never wonder if they're valued. Peace. Self-respect. Freedom. My mother still sends cards on birthdays. Still tries to make contact. Still wants a relationship without accountability. And I still say no. Because I learned something in that bathroom, bleeding out while my mother chose entertainment. Some people will only love you for what you provide. The moment you stop providing it, they'll show you exactly who they are. Believe them. If anyone out there is funding their own mistreatment, sending money to people who don't value you, accepting scraps of love from people who should give it freely, you deserve better. You deserve people who would drive 3 hours in the middle of the night. People who would cancel concerts for your emergencies. People who would fly across the country without being asked. You deserve family that shows up. And if your DNA family won't be that, build a chosen family that will. Because at the end of the day, family isn't who shares your blood. Family is who shows up when you're bleeding. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from. And if you've walked away from family members who treated you like an ATM, you're not alone. We're all building better families, one boundary at a time.